I always think of you as a middle-aged white woman. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to another exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin, where apparently I can continue a train of thought going despite the fact, clearly forgetting I pressed the record button. This afternoon's scene, coughing, is going to be set in the Agrabah Nights, or rather just outside Agrabah Nights. It's a great plot device I use in order to make sure that people actually show up. So, my dear players, you will wander, as you do, down the sidewalk towards the club proper. However, seated outside the club, or rather, I'm not going to say sprawled because he's not. He has his back against the wall of the club and his head is down. He looks as if he's sleeping. You see this individual, as pictured. I really like this picture on a side note. He has next to him a kind of a briefcase style carry-all bag, if any of you have ever seen those, that has a golden name tag on it, or a golden identification tag, which reads as follows. I will write it in the sideboard. Give me just a second. What's my thing buffers?
We have Maya.
Maya. There we go. Cool. There we go. Sorry, I had to pop over to my. Hi Maya. The scene is set outside Agrabah Nights. You will see this individual who is pictured as he is pictured there. Cetus our kind of. He appears to almost be asleep outside of the club proper. Next to him, there is a briefcase-style carry-all bag that he is sitting next to that has a golden name badge or nameplate. That's the correct term on it, upon which is written the following name. And he appears to be asleep.
Yeah, that's odd. So he's just sleeping on the staircase?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not blocking the steps or anything. He's just sleeping in the general vicinity of the front of the place.
He's seated just to the left of the entrance stairs, but he's not blocking your way. You can easily walk around him.
What's tall, foreign, and imposing doing about this? Absolutely nothing?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Jewel will reach out with a hand, kind of on the side of his neck to check his temperature.
He appears to be entirely physically well. As a matter of fact, as you touch him, you will see one of his eyes open, and you will notice the fact, as the other one opens, that they are two different colors. One is a brilliant crimson, the other is a brilliant emerald.
Oh my.
Ah, well. I said I had time to kill, so a nap was practical. Good morning, or good evening. I'm not exactly sure which it is. Ah, evening. Excellent.
You've got some sort of hemicrobia there.
In a manner of speaking.
Say, pointing to the eyes.
And you've got an interesting knack for pointing out people's physical improprieties.
It's a curiosity, not an impropriety. Perfectly cool.
Thank you. He'll stand up and brush himself off, and he'll say, "It's very interesting to meet you all."
Who might you be?
I'm me.
Ah. And I am I. But most people call me Lottie.
Indeed. I'm sure that they do. He'll extend his hand, and he'll say, I suppose you can call me Crouch, if you want.
If that's what you like, sure. And Lottie will extend her hand and shake it.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Mistress Latta.
She'll give him a smile.
He turns and very casually kind of brushes his hands off his coat, and he'll say, and the rest of you, of course, also a pleasure.
I'm sure.
By the way, question, does anyone have any active sights?
Not at this moment.
Okay.
Not I.
Correspondence in Prime. That's all I got.
Kim, he doesn't even register with the Prime signature enough to be alive, in the sense that you're not sure if it's blocking your sight or if there's something that means, but he doesn't even, normal blood registers with a small amount of Prime energy. Not a huge amount, but enough to denote that this is there. He just registers as a blank.
Okay. It's probably a spell.
He will extend his hand to shake Jules.
She will take his hand and shake it. I am the exquisite son of Jules. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm sure that you are. Interesting. Not really his type, but then again, he's somewhat peculiar like that.
She'll raise an eyebrow at that.
He will extend his hand to, sorry, give me just a moment. Sorry, to Eric. My apologies. I got something caught on my throat.
No problem. Is it alright if I do a right click on him?
Okay. You can absolutely roll that error check.
Okay. It's just with the matter overlay, so that should just be there. Oh, if I had Discord up. In lieu of getting the information immediately, I'll just assume that whatever it is isn't going to stop him from shaking his hand, at least, and he'll shake his hand and say, my name's Eric. Pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well, sir. Are you the senior statesman around here?
He kind of grins at that and says, I'm afraid not anymore.
Oh, well, we all do what we can. He will turn on his heel and he will smile, and you'll notice that he puts his hands in his pockets for a moment. If anyone wants to make me a perception alertness roll, they can.
Yes, I'm going to do that because suspicious things are suspicious.
Why not?
Okay, I found out what it was. It's data 2 matter 1, essentially.
Yep, right click.
Yep. If you didn't, yeah, okay, got it. And so that's good. There's Discord. And burning more willpower.
Boy, I type out the shit out of that.
Okay, that'd be oh yeah, oops. Yeah, there. 4 successes on right click.
Okay, cool. This has never happened before, and I emphasize when I say this, which is somewhat interesting from your character's perspective. So you get an error message.
As far as the data like lookup goes, there's basically, does that mean no record, or is this like, because
no, as in you try to process the request, aka think about data, as I say, like software. You attempt to process the request, and rather than getting nothing, the request cannot be processed. It's not even that the effect was countered, because that would indicate another message, but it just says error, unable to continue application, basically.
Interesting. And nothing's okay. That's going to be interesting.
Nothing's
And
broken. Everything else is fine. Like you run a complete, you run an instantaneous internal diagnostic. Everything is functioning fine.
And I assume matter is also blocked because that's part of the same application.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So 4 successes on perk alert. Who else is rolling me some perk alert?
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that.
I got 3 successes.
Okay.
Rolling one moment. I know I have at least one of those things. Diff?
Standard diff.
2 successes.
Okay. It's pretty obvious. You only really need 1 success in order to really see it. He puts his hand into his pocket. You don't see him fumble around with anything in his pockets. However, his hand goes into his pocket, just ordinary, kind of just an ordinary hand. Nothing, kind of like with with pale white skin. Everything interesting about it is he's wearing kind of, black nail varnish. However, when he removes his hand, it's covered. He's wearing a black glove, like a black leather glove, and he extends his hand to Father Belmont.
Is there a reason for that precaution?
He contemplates and he says, "Well, I don't exactly. How does one phrase? I would." Where you've been, not exactly something I want to touch.
Could you be more specific with that, perhaps?
I most certainly could be.
Do you mind doing that?
Massively.
I think he means to say, Father, that you've got cooties.
I like her.
Mm.
Come now, Father. Won't you shake a poor sinner's hand?
That's quite telling.
If it pains you so, then the formalities of a handshake can easily be disregarded.
He'll smile very widely and he'll say, "But Father, you've already held me once. You just didn't realize it."
Is trying to think back. Can I get any clues?
Hey, Kim, what's his name?
Like Cratch? Like
Read,
Crotch?
read his name.
Pretty sure it's like. Yes, I'm reading his name, but Kim's slightly tired right now. And full of ice cream.
Okay. Evan will cut you. Evan will cut you a break. You're from the south. I
Kim,
wrote
that's
this.
the name of the devil.
Mr. Scratch.
Scratch.
That's the name of the devil, girl.
Like, I'm
You
very
would
tired.
harbor that.
And
Don't
didn't
you
you
live in
hold?
Louisiana?
I was gonna say, didn't you hold a piece of him?
Yes, I did.
Ooh la la.
Kim, you live in the south. I wrote this for you.
Look,
Kim, you're
Okay.
disappointing everyone right now.
look, I wasn't. Look, I thought it was just the last name. Okay, yes, I know his nickname is Old Scratch and all that. I've done this before. Look, guys, I've had a very tiring day. I didn't even go to class today. I had like tests and shit I missed. Like, please, guys, please.
It's okay, Kim. Moving on.
I'm just gonna fucking curl up over here and fucking cry.
Calm thy memories, Kim. We're gonna
Y'all being-
continue on.
I'm not even gonna say y'all being assholes. It's just like Evan.
Kim, calm thy tits. We're gonna continue
I'm
on.
fine. Fuck you. I'll just kind of have that. moment. Because, like, I'll be real, I was thinking, like, Faust, and I was, like, trying to figure shit out. I wasn't thinking, like, in Lucifer. And then, he'll just reach out and shake his hand.
He'll say, so, realization, it's a bitch.
Indeed.
Relax, kids. You can now go home and tell the tale of how in the early evenings, sun, when it's all tipping away to the night, you had tea with the morning star.
Oh. Oh. Huh.
Well, are we actually going to have tea? Because that seems a little bit promising. You're not part of my pantheon, so I don't give a fuck.
He will grab Lottie by the waist and pull her in, like, really close to him. For the record, he smells really pretty, if it helps. Do you actually say stranger danger to him?
Yes. Stranger danger. Listen, you.
He smiles and he says, see, the funny thing about morality is the fact that people keep thinking that we basically have it. Bear in mind, there was a time when people thought it was entirely moral to, go and put Christians to die in a big circular room made of stone. Lions at least found that one entertaining. Also, there was a time when if you had a certain skin pigmentation, you were, I believe it was, 3/4 a person. So, morality tends to change. Beg your pardon?
Yes, people suck. What's your point?
My point is that morality is entirely based around the concept of the individuals at the time. But that's neither here nor there. If it helps, he'll take a deep inhalation. You smell like apples.
I mean, yes. What good person wouldn't? They're fantastic.
As you say that, Lottie, he will now start to smell of apples.
I mean, it's a good scent.
But he will turn to Father Belmont and he'll say, I'm oddly enough not here in order to deprive I was going to say the chastity of young ladies, but then again, I feel as though that, actually, because that's funny. Lottie, what was the name of the first boy that Lottie slept with, and where was it?
Damn, I can't even remember.
All right.
His name was Nico.
Sniper shot.
He was from Louisiana. There you go. He was Nico, a Marine from Louisiana.
All right. He will say, but then again, that's
shooting things at me.
That's nothing to Mr. Nico, then again, is it? But you were young and foolish. Devil, I'm kind of good with sin and all that good stuff. What can I say?
Well, at least remember that it was damn well disappointing.
Well, your first time generally is.
I know, but the girl never disappointed, so it's just a disappointing event. Thank you for bringing it up. Rude.
You're welcome. I do my best. I'm actually here to ask Father Belmont a single question. Once I have the answer to that, you can go about your pleasant evening, I'm sure.
Fuck my life. He just looks expectantly.
I'm curious. So, you broke my staff. Or you broke my spear, rather.
That I did, yes.
You know what the deal was with that spear?
Unfortunately, no, I did not have enough time to do the research that I wanted.
It was given to me as a gift from he who sits on high in order to hang the stars in heaven. Fun fact.
That I did hear about.
Yeah, Faust tends to be a tends to be a chatterbox when he wants to be.
And he wants to.
And that's why I was also amused that's also why I was amused, because Jewel, not really his type, but then again, he's going to make it interesting, I have no doubt. But my question is simple. When you snap the staff, or when you snap the spear given to me by the Almighty, and I'm led to understand he showed up, was he sad at the fact it was snapped?
Oh, was he? I can't remember.
You have absolutely no idea.
Beautiful. So he will just say, I am sorry, I cannot answer that question.
Well, I was, of course, hoping for a more dramatic answer.
Of that I have no doubt. But unfortunately, I am unable to.
Oh well, I suppose vainglory. He takes a deck of cards out of his out of a pocket. And he starts to flick them between his fingers. He starts to shuffle them incredibly expertly, and he says, "In all honesty, I think that we all have hope that one day our parents, regardless how far we fall from their estimations, at least come to think about their ne'er-do-well kids."
To think about them or to think well of them?
Either a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Sometimes it
It's
is
all-
best to be even looked at in a negative light than to not be looked at all.
You're not wrong. So I'm curious. You're a priest. You're one of his. Do you know what I did?
Perhaps not fully. I only know what the stories have told, and unfortunately, history is written by the victors.
Yeah, that whole war thing. I still have a scar, on my spirit from where my dear, dear brother stabbed me in the back, but c'est la vie. Michael was always tenacious like that.
Does it ache in the weather? Because that happens to mortals, and I'm just wondering if that ever happens to you. Because, like, the weather shifts are a bitch sometimes.
I mean,
Sorry.
if there was weather on my soul, it might be, but I can't exactly think why that would be a case.
I mean, I don't know. Spirits are a bitch. Sometimes they want to be mean.
He will say, "You've answered my question. That's all I needed. Thank you, Father Belmont."
He nods his head, but then says, "Do you believe that tea was expected, though?"
I beg your pardon?
Wasn't there talk of tea?
I think that was just me grandstanding and paraphrasing.
Well, if you aren't going to leave immediately, or if you're going to be hanging around here a while, I would not be opposed to having tea with you. Apparently, there are some things I may need to discuss with you.
Oh, I can't talk about the deals that you may or may not have made with Faust. That's not my business.
That's not what I need to discuss.
Oh my. Well, metaphorical deals with the devil, what can I say? They're exactly what they say on the tin.
I mean, we are in Ireland. Why not a hot toddy? That seems to be the thing, right?
He'll look down. He hasn't let go of you, for the record. He's still holding you. You can try and break away if you really want to.
She figures if the devil has hold of her, he's not going to let go till he's ready, or until she bites him. She's waiting.
Wow. Anyway, he will look down at Jewel and he'll say, "As long as you know the caveats and as long as you're comfortable with them, what is it you wish to talk to me about?"
There is I suppose you could call it a matter of history.
Oh dear.
And it's
Things always
retelling.
get interesting. Hmm?
That troubles me.
Mm-hmm.
I realize it may not be in your area,
I've been around the block before. What can I say? Maybe I know the answer.
What do you know of creating dog spirits to serve as a familiar?
He'll blink. That's oddly specific.
Do you mean dogs or hellhounds?
I'm
Dogs.
good with one. I'm good with one of those. I'm not very good with the other.
Actually, Jewel, wouldn't someone a little bit more Aegean be up the alley? I mean, they literally do have like a dog guardian. Its name is Spot.
Stop.
Possibly. But
To
as I
answer-
said, it's a matter of
To answer your
history and
question,
retelling.
from you awakened the Meiji people. From your perspective, creating all spirits are essentially the same. It's just a command of the fundamental nature of reality in the way that you do the voodoo that you do so well. I mean,
Lottie's
hell.
just gonna start humming that song.
hmm I mean, hell, you Magi people, you can create a soul on the same level as he kind of points up at the sky can do if you're given enough time to do it. So, creating a spirit, not necessarily easy, requires a certain command of the laws of fundament, but, you know,
And without command of those laws?
I don't think you can. Well, there are certain times the rules are bent and broken. Consider this. He'll smile. You know what? I'm generous. You can have. I'll give you this, and I'll answer one more question when this is done as a freebie, because Zach answered my question, and my question burned my very soul to know the answer. So, you have this, and I'll give you one more between the group when this is said and done, and I'll even answer honestly. None of that backhanded, ne'er-do-well kind of crap that we go on with, or talking in symbolism. Because, frankly, I like you guys. You're all dirty in just the right ways. But then again, that's why you are, because you have the right to be. But to answer your question, you can create a spirit. I suppose there are the back ways to create a spirit. You know, when you first come into your power and have the taste of the divine on your lips, at that moment you can do nearly anything, kids. But why? Why do you want to know?
I'm told, and have been for many years, that the information regarding specifically the creation of the Inugami spirits was banned as a form of devil worship.
Hi, my name is Lucifer. You can call me Lucy. Funny thing about infernal spirits is that there are literally only myself and my brothers and sisters who are quote unquote infernal, and that's because we were cast out into the pit, the abyss, hell, if you will. And don't get melodramatic ideas, I'm not actually the king of it. I prefer to spend as much time here as possible, preferably LA, which is in and of itself a new hell. However, what people deem as infernal ain't in fact infernal, sister. It's people's concepts of morality, once again, because they don't like something, they call it infernal or profane. Not necessarily the case. These spirits that you speak of, they're part of the natural order of things. Nothing at all, 100% to do with us.
Lottie starts thinking because she has an appointment at some sort of interrogation interview, quote unquote, council thing. This is good information, literally from the devil himself. So
You're
she's
not
gonna
wrong.
thoughtful look and nod.
However, is admitting that you've met the devil himself good for an interview about infernalism?
She bumped into him. Listen, she was
A
not
likely,
searching.
a likely story.
Listen,
But-
is the honest truth though.
But he'll say, does that answer your question?
A bit, yes.
Wonderful. So, guys, he'll flick the cards between his fingers. You see them, all of the different faces of the different cards, jacks, queens, clubs, aces, all flicking around. Before he says, now then, you have one more question, because the good priesty boy here answered mine. So, what would you guys like to know? And I assure you, I know quite a lot of things. I also believe in equivalent exchange, so this is why you're getting the question. Believe it or not, I don't ask for things because I want them. I ask for things because I feel as though in order to gain something, something of equal value must be lost.
Gotta resist the urge to be like, how Full Metal Alchemist of you. Gotta resist.
Hmm. Jewel will look at the other people in the group. Well,
I mean, I've got an appointment later, and I feel like further questions might be a little incriminating. At least they'll get someone else in trouble. I really won't get a shock, but they'll get someone else in trouble. Would it still be bad if I asked someone to ask it for me? Gets thoughtful look.
What about you, senior statesman? Anything you desire to know?
Well, he's going to look over at the others. If I had one pro bono question from someone with nigh infinite knowledge, or darn close.
Oh, it's not infinite. I'm not omnipresent. I'm just omnipotent. But continue.
Or at least someone who's been around a long fucking time.
Quite. I would probably ask for something to do with weaknesses of the Union. Something in particular, perhaps, but I'm not... If I didn't have something very specific to ask, and, well, vague questions are probably not worth much in this case.
He will casually nod. How tall is Lottie? She's not terrifically tall, I remember that.
She is 5'7". She's perfectly average height, a little bit above. Listen, she's at least taller than Eliza, and that's all that matters.
He will very casually lean his elbow on her head and lean on her. He doesn't weigh nearly anything, but he does it.
Urge to bite. Looks up at the elbow. Looks
Son.
at him. Smiles.
One question, boys and girls. I can tell you the lotto numbers for next week if anyone really wants to know.
I could get those myself if I wanted. I just think it's not a wise use of this opportunity.
Okay, but like if someone doesn't ask, I'm gonna ask a stupid question.
In that case, I say that's incentive for us to come up with something relevant.
The answer is 99 red balloons, Lottie. The answer is always 99 red balloons.
They'll bleed out of you? Alright, that's interesting.
Indeed.
Wait a second.
Father?
Thinks back to it.
Do you have any input on this? Or would you prefer to stay out of these feelings?
There are many questions, one in particular, but I will allow you guys to use the question. After all, you gave something up for Faust. It's only fair.
She
I
nods.
choose to point out, you know that myself and Faust are entirely different politically and not at all conjoined in any fashion whatsoever. But continue on with your process.
He
Temptation.
nods and says,
Sorry, what were you saying, Solon? You spoke first.
Sorry, temptation to ask about that aside. Sorry, did that not go through?
No, I heard you.
No, that was her. Very well.
Perhaps we could ask specifically what the next plan or the current plan in motion is that the Union has in store for us. That could give us a bit of an advantage.
Possible. We could also ask how to halt the deaths in the children's cancer ward.
I hadn't heard about that.
Not from the hands of disease or time. From the hands of
No,
the
I believe
Union.
that one. I believe that one was caused by the hands of one particular dumb fuck. But continue.
they were.
Yes. Extremely so.
Nine and nine, let's love the balloons. He's actually just singing that song now.
Stare. Lottie has views on it, and red balloons filled with blood.
It's funny, isn't it, how you can always think about if I ever had this opportunity, I'd do X, Y, and Z. However, when the opportunity is placed before you, it becomes a matter of, oh dear, oh my, I have to contemplate the outcomes at X, Y, Z. Oh no.
Well, I never really thought you were real, so this is surprising. This has never come up.
And you think your gods are real?
I mean, I chat with mine every once in a while. It's either my god or my ego. Could be both. At least it's something realistic.
You met
Well,
the
then-
Monkey King. On a side note, he still owes me 20 gold coins and a goat, but that's neither here nor there.
Well then, was it Mr. Eldred or Professor Eldred?
Yeah. That you can call me Eric if you prefer.
Well then, Eric. I believe
Oakridge.
your question
In that case, how
is
to
a
properly phrase
valuable
it?
one.
How to properly phrase it?
As I said, I'm not intending to fuck you over on phrasing.
Oh, in that case, taking you at your word there. What is the technocracy's current, I don't know, plan of the month to try and eradicate us? And if this is related and not a separate question, any glaring weaknesses we might exploit?
Wait. It's the 22nd. The month is almost over. Maybe push that time frame a little longer.
Within the next 30 days. But again, he said he wasn't going to fuck us on the phrasing.
But you said a month.
Okay, so there is an answer to this question, and it's actually a pretty interesting one. So, let me think how to phrase. So, question. I know a handful of them did. Hong Kong. Any of you guys ever been there?
Shake of the head.
Jewel will shake her head in the negative.
Right. Well, from what I'm led to understand, the technocracy there decided to put up a little wall in order to keep supernatural things bound inside it. And also, anything that passed through the wall, well, met a very sad ending. It essentially could determine the nature of a being, be it normal or consensual, in terms of the. He'll raise his fingers and do the bunny air quotes, consensus of reality. You understand? From what was not, and determined anything that was not was a threat. And the wall, if you passed it, would vaporize you. You following me?
Thus far, yes.
Mm-hmm. You see,
That's no fun.
hmm?
That does not sound like a fun time.
Mm-mm. You see, Director Zen doesn't really give a fuck about keeping you all hemmed in. So what she's doing, she's a marvelous one for the record. Oh, her soul is going to the darkest point in the Shadowlands when she dies. But that's neither here nor there. She's converted it a little bit, or rather, had it converted. It's no longer a dome. It's a wave.
Lovely.
Well, fuck me over. Okay, that's not great. That's not great at all.
So, her intention is to unleash it over the city, so it can literally roll you all away.
Clever.
Grandiose, but not that unusual for their line of thinking.
Well, you've never really sat down and asked yourselves, have you, why do they want this city? That would have been a good question.
That's true.
Well, in honesty, isn't Dublin on one of the most potent ley lines in the country?
Isn't it on what?
Some of the most potent ley lines in the country?
Mm-hmm.
That is the obvious answer.
It's the magical if they can push something through the ley lines to affect other ley lines, it's a great starting point for any kind of anti-magic Armageddon. It just kind of makes sense.
Ooh, she's good.
The other less obvious answer would likely have to do with the missing Horizon realm.
Two could even be connected.
I'm amused that you think something is missing.
Well, I say missing as in we don't know how to access it.
Or something was put in.
It's not missing like a sock or a shoe. We just don't have the entry point.
Well, we do now, actually. We just haven't... I don't believe anyone's acted on the information we were given at Mr. Belmont's party the other day.
I have an idea where it might be, but it's not a place
Zach, you had a party without me. What the hell? I thought we were friends.
I
not a place
did
to
not plan this party. My apologies, Miss Jewel.
You are forgiven, Father. But no, based on the words that were spoken, unless it is a riddle about the physical world specifically, I believe we may find the point of entry in the Shadowlands.
That's entirely for you to think. Now then, as comfortable as Lottie's head is, I have other places to be.
Growls at the elbow still on her head.
He will straighten up and brush himself down. He will then flick through his cards, and he'll throw one onto the ground behind you. However, as the card lands, you notice that it's not a playing card. As in, it's not a one of the playing cards that he was playing with. It is, in fact, a tarot card. And I'm guessing what tarot card it is.
Yes.
It is the devil card.
Evan,
Mhm.
is there something I could roll to intuit whether or not he's being cheeky or he's trying to send us a message?
He was just about to explain what the card was. If you want to give me 20 seconds.
Go right ahead then.
He'll say, as I've said, I'm always open. My door is always, free and easy to enter and leave. Well, free to enter anyway. So if anyone ever actually wants to strike up a bargain, they just have to hold the card and say my name.
I mean,
Oh.
you've got a lot of names.
Well, any will do. Oh, and Father Belmont.
Yes.
The kid is alive, if it helps.
Ooh.
He will nod and then he will continue to say, yes, but only for the next few days unless I can find a way.
Well, not exactly true. The director decided to try and trick you into acting in a rash or impulsive manner. There
Does
was
she
no
not know about
execution
that?
order given.
Sorry, I'm just saying, does she not know the father here?
Mm-hmm.
She obviously does not know the father.
However, because Mr. Mr. Eric here it is Eric, asked a good question. Before I leave, I will say, you asked when this threat was due and how it might be averted, and I keep my deals. So, the threat is nigh, it is imminent. Their generator is currently building power. However, it requires an awful lot of power in order to generate such a calamity. Enough to maybe even knock the entire power of a city out. Well,
Oh,
good
boy.
afternoon, boys and girls.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
See,
How
is
many
it-
times do you get to say in your life it was a pleasure to meet the devil?
Not many.
I mean, rather the devil, you know.
Jewel will bow respectfully to him as he turns to leave. Or
Offers an apple.
makes ready to leave, I suppose.
Lonnie's just gonna offer him an apple. This is the real deal. No fake scent will work.
He'll take the apple and he'll throw it into the air. And he'll catch it before he takes a bite. And he'll say, funny story. I once offered a beautiful young girl one of these.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, but was it green though, or was it red? Or was it one of those weird yellow ones? What
Ew,
color?
yellow.
Exactly. So yeah, I've always known that yellow was the worst one. At least with that green one in your hand, and now you have taste.
Alright then, boys and girls.
Plants away.
With that, he will walk down the street and turn a corner.
Jewel will pick up the card he left behind
Mhm.
and tuck it into her tarot deck.
Mhm.
You might want to label that one.
It doesn't
Just in
match the
case.
other cards.
As you look down, Heather, yes, it does.
Oh shit!
Wait, 1 second. Blood is
Wow.
gonna dig through her bag. Haha. And she's gonna lean over and put a gold star right over the head of the devil on the card. Boom.
What was that? Sorry, Lottie?
Lottie has stickers in her bag because chaos and glitter
Mhm.
and markers. She's actually a 3-year-old, don't you know? Anyway, and she's gonna put a shiny star sticker right above the head of the devil and the tarot card. There.
Okay. As you do that, interestingly enough, the sticker disappears. However, the representation of the sticker on the card, it's almost like the sticker was printed on the card.
I knew he had good taste, at least.
Fascinating. Where did you find those?
The stickers? Like any art and craft shop. I have so many.
By the way, sorry, just for Solon, Eric, an email. Basically, in your Trinary computer, your computer is linked to all of your emails, all of your separate emails. On your character's personal email address / email server, you will get an email. It literally says, "Bing, you've got mail."
All the standard firewall, everything else, scans, any attachments.
Nope, it is just a small text email.
What does it say?
It for the record, the address is Damien666. No, seriously, the original at hotmail.com.
Love it.
It literally reads, "It was a very good question."
Now, you see, if Eric were about 30 years younger, there'd just be an emoji response. But thank God he's not. In any case, awesome.
Oh, sorry. To answer that question, his email is Damien666. No, is Damien666. No, seriously, the real one at hotmail.com.
What the fuck uses Hotmail?
The devil.
I still have the Hotmail from when I was like fucking ancient.
We're like mid-20s. What ancient?
Silence, Kim.
Silence the truth.
Just out of curiosity, because I don't know if Evan had anticipated.
The one person playing the devil is telling the one person that plays the father to silence.
Get thee behind me, Lucifer. But I don't know if Evan wanted the scene to go on for too long, but I was wondering, is there any way that we could contact a certain VA that Evan has control over?
Which one? I have control of many.
Your PC.
No. In all honesty, I didn't want the scene to go on terrifically long because I've got one or two other things I need to do tonight. I just needed to get this off my plate. So does anyone mind terribly if we end it there, and any follow-up you want to do, I am free all day tomorrow.
Cool.
All right, cool. In that case, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin. God, I really love this picture. Have a pleasant evening.
Picture.